What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going over the price action for Friday the 12th of December. We're looking at NQ Nasdaq 100. Let's get right into it. So rough day in the markets, bad day in the office. We had a massive sell-off on Nasdaq yesterday. So let's go over what actually happened. So we opened with a huge gap down yesterday. And I thought we would have continued higher, even though it's a Friday, but I thought it would have continued higher. However, that wasn't the case. So we sold off completely, taking out all of these lows. Cleared this low got stopped out on the positions that I had. So I had some position inside of here, got stopped out on all of those positions. So lost the account as well, lost the 10k account. Finally lost it, couldn't recover. And it's partly my fault as well, because it's entirely my fault because I took the trades. But I keep taking the trades when I'm at work and I'm not able to monitor them properly. But my bias was wrong because I was looking for buys and I was buying inside of this thing. So every time I get a flip, I took a buy, but no follow through on those buys because I went into profit, but I actually held some positions from the previous day. They went all the way up in profit and I didn't take off any. And when I see this huge gap down, it was like crazy. So I was thinking we would continue higher, but that didn't play out. So if you notice this week's candle, so this is going into the third week of the month now. So first week, second week, third week forming here. I still want to lean bullish because we took out all the lows now. So I'm thinking we could start to curl back up from here. Maybe with a little flush out, but we took out this low. We took out this low. We have some new day and new week opening gaps right here. We also have this gap down here that we could actually come back to, but let us see what happens. Whatever the direction, we can find trade. So we have this here, these gaps here that we can come back to, and we still have these gaps. These have been tested several times. I think it's a new day opening gap. Yeah, man. New day opening gap. New day opening gap, these. So let us see what actually happens. So going down now to the lower time frame. Let me drag this over. The lower time frame, this is what the 4 hour looks like. So thought would have broken out of the range to the upside. Now the delivery wasn't clean for the whole entire week. So this looked like a market maker sell model. Looking back at this now that it actually played out. Come on, man. No, this is what I was running from. Yeah, man. So there goes the template. So see, now you can clearly see. Let me see what this is, if it's a new day or a new week opening gap. Let's see, go down to here. Yeah, man. So new week opening gap. New day opening gap is So yeah, man. So this is a new week opening gap, and this is a new day. So the new week is more orange. So yeah, man. So this is a new week opening gap, and we came all the way down to this one right here. So we came all the way down to this one right here. So next week I'm expecting us to possibly come down a little bit more. So now we in still in premium, but we're closer to equilibrium. So we could still come down some more and then flip to the upside. Now I'm still bullish because the higher time frame is still showing me upside. We have these equalize up here, and we could still get that Santa Claus rally within next week. But let us see. Whichever way, I'll still be fine. So that's on the 4 hour. Now the 1 hour open with a gap, open with a gap like this, and I could have actually still saw that we were selling off once we open with this gap down here. So once we gap down here, I could still expect us to, just come to the downside. But for some reason, I was still bullish. So I had some buys inside of this candle when we got to the lows yesterday. I took some buys and I went all the way into about 1% profit here. And this thing came back and stopped out everything. So let me show you. So these were from over here. We had 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. And see where I got stopped out. I took these here. They went into profit. Came back down, stopped out and here and stopped out and the remainder down here. And that's where I lost this 10K account. This is the current standing. So we lost more than the 10% overall target and see the too many reds. So we lost this account. So pretty much on to the next one. So let's go over the price action for the day. Now let me go to trading view. So after we had this huge gap down here, I wanted to see us come back and fill this gap right here. Wanted to see us come back and fill this gap. Wanted to see us come back and fill this gap. However, that didn't happen. So they didn't wake up for London again. And we had a huge sell-off during London. Because we had a little bit of bounce during the midnight open. Once we had the midnight open, we had a bounce here. Swept these highs slightly and then we started selling off. So this was the first place to get in. So if you're using all of this range here, this is the first place to get into this trade. And then now we had another entry right here. Another entry right here using this London macro. This is around 350 to 410. And any one of these entries you could have basically held for the entirety of the day. So they want to use a break or you want to use a fair value gap, could have found an entry inside of here. selling, coming all the way down, retrace. This could have also been another entry. So retrace to 50% of that fair value gap, and we got another entry right there. We had taken these lows, created equal lows here. So the next target would have been to the downside here. So during the late part of London, we had another entry also here to still bring us lower. So that entry there, we had another one here again. So we just kept retracing and continuing the sell off. I don't know when I'll be able to catch some of these moves consistently because of how the schedule sets up. So we had this little volume imbalance plus fair value gap here because this whole entire range is pure buying selling going on here. So we retrace to balance it. So I can either use fair value gap or volume. Well, fair value gap right there to sell off. So we had that sell. We also had another one here using this candle as an order block. So we tested it here right at the end of the macro. Sell off right there, and it came all the way down. And now by 7 we had a bounce. So if I look to the left, we had tapped into this little level right here, and that's where we had a bounce. And that is where I took some buys in the morning before I went to work. So didn't get the cleanest entry because, like I said, I'm not sitting at the chart. So get it inside this macro. I saw the breakout, I saw the change in the state of delivery, and I just took it right here and I set my stops all the way below here. Pretty decent move, but I just took like I just a one lot on this thing. It went 70 pips in profit because I get all of this. So 70 points. This could have been a decent move as well if I had used the risk that I normally use, risking a 0.5% or 1%. But just use one lot and put the stop there. So this was a nice little buy, but I was expecting us to pull down here. I got stopped out on this position right here, and I added over here, and it just kept selling. Because in my mind, I was still thinking buys because we're in an uptrend, so I'm still leaning bullish. So this was a pretty decent entry for another buy using this zone. So we had a buy here, and all of these would be some nice scalp buys if you really know how to time the market. These can be some pretty decent entries with some high risk to rewards if you know how to get in here. So this could have been one such entry. Stop just right below here, like a 10 pip stop. And by the time you get to here, this is already 1 to 8. And with the kind of lot size that you'll be using, this could be a easy 5 to 6% gain. Even if you wait on the macro to enter right there, pretty decent trade to get in right there. So that was one buy opportunity. One buy opportunity there. So it's just really impatience why I didn't get some of these trades because I'm not focused, because I'm not at the chart, you know. So we had this also as another point to get in. So this would have been an order block. You could use the entire range here. Could use this entire range here as a OB, or you could even use a few of these candles And now if I switch to my MT5 chart, this is the 5 minutes. See, it will show me here where we came into this order block. Is it the right place? So yeah, man, right here. So we have this as a, whether you want to call it a order block or a supply zone. Came back into it on the 5 minute. Let me see what the 1 minute looks like. This is it right here. I'm gonna think somewhere around here. Yeah, I need to get the macro thing on here so I can see clearly. But nevertheless, go back to trading view, compare it. So this is at the top here. So it actually stopped drawing the thing from here. So it would have been here if I put the history on. See if I can. So the history at 2000. So yeah, man. So we came into this little zone here. It says a fair value gap and a supply zone that we tapped into right inside the macro, and this would have been a nice trade to capture. Nice trade to capture. So pretty decent trade right there to capture. Um, Pretty decent trade there to capture. And when I look at trading view, so all of these were some pretty decent trades. Like the market has been active on Friday. So this year would have been a nice trade. This would have been a beautiful sell also. And if you don't get in at the tip here, you could have gotten in right here using this. So once we add the change here, came down, this would have been a nice entry right before 9. And this would have been a nice sell. So this macro was 850 to 910 here, where we had the sell off, and we just continue coming all the way down. So we sold down, came back up for the 10 a.m. I took some buys in here, and those that got stopped out and as well. But this was just a liquidity grab and to basically induce these lows. So we took out these lows, and I thought that was enough for us to switch bias. But just as the main session kicking in, you can see clearly where the direction went. But I'm looking at the higher time frame, I'm thinking eventually we could flip back bullish. So we came up and not really a PD area in here, but we came up, retested that zone. We could have entered here. Let me see. Possibly could use this candle. Possibly could use this candle or even this candle up here as a zone for me to enter. And this is where I could enter for some sell opportunities. So sell opportunity there. Stop a bit wider, 26 points. But the target, by the time you get down to here inside the macro, so less than 20 minutes, and you would be getting a 1 to 5. So 1 to 5, 150 points. Decent trade that for the day. You could partial leave a runner. We continue selling. By the time we get to here, it's 260 points that we could have capitalized on. We came back into this other fair value gap, and we dropped decent again. So this one was a perfect drop. Nice little sell off there again inside this macro. Inside this macro, perfect drop right there. Started consolidating because we're heading into lunchtime now, but this is another 250 point drop. And using this one, this would have been 400 points, 430 points if you left your runner and add it into the trade right here. So another perfect opportunity to get in there. Despite this consolidation, we came up. This macro gave us another buy opportunity, and I think this was the low of the day. So after we finished dropping all of that, this was when we took out the previous day. Let me see if I can go up to the 1 hour. Can remove this. So either this would have been the previous, well, some lows were taken out here. Let's just call it that. Took out this liquidity right here, and that's where we bounce. So when I go to the 1 minute, it's right there that we took out that low, and then we bounce. So for my nice little buy model, this order block gave us the propulsion to go higher. So that OB right there. And going into the PM session, this was the first buy opportunity. So multiple opportunities for the day. So this one, first one, to send us higher. Buy opportunity there. Another one here. So using this fair value gap, this FVG during the lunchtime, during this lunchtime macro, another buy opportunity there to send us higher, and we came all the way up to here. Didn't quite make it to that order block, but depending on the zone that you use, let me look, and yeah, didn't quite make it up there. Yeah, didn't quite make it up there. Let me look at the 5 minute. Let me look at the 5 minute. So 5 minute we touch this little zone right here. Yeah man. This little zone and the 5 minutes time frame. Depending on how you drew the order block, we came in and we touched it. Touched it perfectly. So either the buy to come up here. So this was another buy opportunity. Short one, but still almost 100 point move, and with that relatively tight stop there, 15 points, still another 1 to 6 right there. Came up, clap that. This was another one going into the PM session. So we had this sell off before we ended the day right there. So going into the PM session, we had this opportunity right there. So this would have been the last one for the day. That actually makes sense on a Friday. So this would have been a nice one. Inside the macro again for another decent drop. So if you hold it all the way down to here, it's another 160 point. But if you just hold it until power hour, right there, still almost a 100 point drop. And that would have been a beautiful trade for the day. So that is really it for today's video. The main thing is I need to be more focused when I'm trading. So think I'll stop trading in the days at work. If I don't wake up for London, then I won't take anything. If I can catch anything in between here, so the main window for me would be from London if I wake up all the way to about here. Let me see, where is this? Yeah, man, about 7 o'clock. So right here, because I leave out for work right here. So this is the main window for me. Main window for me. I don't get the bulk of the activity, but still, it is what it is. Until I'm full time, I can't catch this part of the move over here. So I just need to work on the consistency when it comes to timing these entries. But lesson learned, I did my journaling, did my reflecting, and I'm going to take it easy going into the Christmas holiday. We only have a few more trading days left before we call it a year. So hopefully January brings some high volatility where we can capitalize on some moves and some trending markets as well, because the price action over the last couple weeks, this part right here, the last 2 weeks has been very choppy. And if you're not constantly at the charts to get the entries, then you're going to miss out on a lot. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Peace.